Hi everyone, and welcome back to the MRE Security YouTube channel. My name is Evan Isaac, and today we'll be taking a look at Section 6 of the API Security 2025 CTF. In this section, we have two challenges on permission slip. The first one is Molehill, and it says a company has exposed their API documentation through an OpenAI specification. Most endpoints require authentication, but there might be a misconfiguration where an endpoint that should require authentication doesn't actually enforce it. Your task is to analyze the OpenAI specification, find the endpoint that doesn't properly enforce authentication, and extract the flag from the vulnerable endpoint. Okay, so we see here that there is a web page with a few different things. The first is that we can download the OpenAI file. And the second is there is also documentation. So we can head on over to the Swagger UI and we see that there is a bunch of endpoints. Not a whole lot, but there are quite a few. And we're going to try to use something called APISec scanner. And if you don't have never used the APISec scanner, essentially what it's a API scanner that finds vulnerabilities within your API. So going back, we could download the OpenAI specification and we get an OpenAI.json file. We could head over to this page, and if you haven't signed up, just go to APISec.ai, register completely free of charge. It's a freemium application. And once you see this page, you know you're good to go. So click on register your application now and you'll see a pop-up. Click on the OpenAI spec. We can click next and then we can upload a file here. So in our case, it's just going to be the file that we just downloaded and we'll name it to Molehill. So we'll click on continue and it looks like that's okay. So we'll click on onboard and we'll see if maybe it finds anything. It probably won't because it's saying localhost 3000. We don't have localhost, so we may have to do something else, but we're going to see if this works or not. So looking at it, we could see that there is a critical here. And if we read it, is there anything in here that showcases? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so maybe that's not it. Let's see if there is anything here. Authenticated, looks like there's 20 authenticated. How do we see whether or not it is an unauthenticated endpoint though? Let's click on access and it looks like they are all authenticated, which is obviously not true. One of these endpoints is supposed to be unauthenticated as shown in the prompt. So maybe we have to do something else. Let's head back on over to APISec and let's modify the application configuration a little bit. Is there a way to modify this? And we'll do https:// and we'll just paste in this URL here. So we'll paste in this, test if it's reachable, and it should be because we just accessed it. So let's hope that it does find it and it works. And it looks like it did. So now what we could do is we could try to see if it finds anything of interest. So we could do a scan all endpoints and initiate scan. And this may take a few seconds, so let's wait it out and see what happens. Coming back over here, we could just see if maybe it's found something, and it looks like it has. And it says unenforced credentials for this endpoint. And when we review it, it says that the request body, there is nothing in the request body. But looking over at the response, this endpoint doesn't require authentication. So let's see if we have to, let's just go to this endpoint and let's see if maybe it'll find it this way instead. And there we go. Okay, so we had to go to the endpoint itself. I wonder why it did. Oh, you have to click the arrow down. Here it is. Okay, flag, OpenAI vulnerability intro. So we'll copy this on over and we'll paste it into our challenge. There's the first flag done. Let's move over to mountain, which is 200 points. And it says essentially the exact same thing. And over here, it does say use the APISec scanner to assist you, which we're currently doing already. So again, we'll download it. So now that we have, and we downloaded the OpenAI spec, we can again come back over to our APISec scanner. And we're going to, instead of doing this application, what we need to do now is we need to add an application. We're going to add OpenAI specs, and we are going to paste it again in to our scanner. So we'll call this one Mountain. We'll click continue. We'll modify this to be the URL that we had, which is over here. So we'll take that and we'll paste it on in, and we'll click on onboard, and it's going to do some basic scanning. Like I said, it'll initiate the first scan just to see what it has in relation to what endpoints are currently being accessed within the API. And once it's done, we can begin the scan. And it looks like there are 1,000 endpoints. Let's see if it did find anything on that initial one. It looks like it didn't. So what we could do is we can start scanning all of these different endpoints. Now, this may take a second, so I'm going to cut and be right back when it finishes. All right, and after a while, this took quite some time, but we could see that there is a vulnerability and unenforced credentials with this endpoint here. When we click on it and we scroll down, we could see that there is the flag open API spec vulnerability as the flag. So we'll come here, we'll copy it, and we'll paste it on into the flag. And that's all for this episode. Be sure to check out the APISec scanner. And if you want to see a demo, please let me know by DMing me either on LinkedIn or reaching out via Discord. And that's all for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. And if you do want to use the APISec scanner, again, it's completely free. So you can just go on and check it out. That's all. So please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.